Well, all right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another info session. Today, we're going to be speaking about post-adoption services. Today, we have with us Mrs. Barb Clark. She's the parenting support specialist for the North American Council on Adoption Children, also known as NACAC. How did I do, Barb?
You got it.
I did good.
Yep.
All right. Well, welcome. And you guys are based out of Minnesota, correct?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Well, today we're just gonna just go over some brief questions that I have for you, just so you could tell us a little bit about NACAC. So, to start, I mean, what is NACAC, and am I pronouncing it correctly? Let's start with that.
You are,
I'm
yes.
doing good. Okay.
NACAC is what we are referred to, the North American Council on Adoptable Children.
Okay. So, what is it that you guys do? Tell us a little bit about that,
We have
please.
several kind of buckets or things that we do. One thing that we're very passionate about is post-adoption support
Mhm.
for adoptive, foster, and kinship families. We work around North America helping different agencies, territories, counties, states, provinces, tribes, help them kind of support them in figuring out how to have a post-adoption support program that is serving families
Right.
appropriately. We also do support in the United States for adoption assistance and tax credit, just understanding information about that. Um, we do a lot of training and education for child welfare professionals and families. And we also are involved in some different advocacy efforts, and we have some training options for, especially for families, but for professionals as well, on just learning advocacy
Right.
skills to try to be able to make changes.
What are the supports you have for adoption assistant, and also talk a little bit about the tax credit process as well.
So we have one of my coworkers. His name is Josh Kroll, and the majority of his full-time job is providing support to parents and professionals around the country. He is very familiar with each state's statutes and how they do their adoption assistance,
Right.
and then he also is very knowledgeable about the tax credits. So
Okay.
starting in February every year for a couple of months until the tax deadline, he's really busy taking a lot of phone calls.
Is his information available on your website? If I
It
just say
is,
we had some
yes.
questions.
Yes, on our website, there's some tabs that you can click on about adoption assistance, and
Hmm.
his email is on there, and his phone number and extension as well.
All right. Now, what type of training or education does NACAC offer?
Yeah, so we have a variety of different trainings that we can offer. One program that we've been doing for a few decades is what we kind of call a parent leadership training. We
Mhm.
do training for adoptive, foster, and kinship parents in how to lead support groups and post-adoption support networks in their local communities. And so we also have been doing in the last couple of years a lot of training around North America on fetal alcohol spectrum disorders. That's one
Right.
of our specialties because we're seeing it's such incredibly high rates of that. So we do a lot around that. I myself am an adoptive parent who has lived experience. A lot of us who are on staff at NACAC are adoptive, foster, or kinship parents with lived experience. And so we infuse that into all of our
Right.
training. One
Right.
of the trainings, though, that's been really taking off also is trauma-informed strategies, trauma-informed parenting strategies, strategies for professionals even. That training, for example, is one that that myself and some of my coworkers have developed based on us making a whole bunch of mistakes.
Right. 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 Right.
Parenting our children with consequence-based punitive parenting skills, which is what the majority of the world was, raised on. And if you have a child with a trauma history, you learn the hard way that often is not an effective strategy. And so at
Correct.
NACAC, we're very passionate about trying to help families shift their paradigm and their approach in how they parent and support and love these kids.
Another question that I have for you is for the child welfare professionals, right? What specific, I would say, support do you have for them?
What we have seen is that if the child welfare professionals have the right knowledge and understanding of things like fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, understand the trauma informed approaches and how to what happens often for our professionals is they're placing children in foster homes or adoptive homes, and then they're getting calls from really frustrated parents who
Right,
are struggling with challenging behaviors. And so what we've found is if we can help those child welfare professionals have some of these concrete examples of how to help the families shift and do things differently, it will decrease disrupted placements and increase the success of the children and that kind of stuff. So it also, post adoption support in general actually helps to recruit, because
right,
if our current foster families or
right,
adopted families or kinship families are a hot mess and
right.
struggling, that spreads to the community, to their
Exactly,
neighbors, their
exactly.
church, their synagogue members. It spreads, and there's all these trickle down effects where it can make the child welfare professional's job easier if we're doing the right post-adoption support, but also that training component. This is what we're hearing from families around the country and Canada, is they do not feel like they had been adequately prepared to
Yeah.
parent these children.
Well, you said training. Do you have any upcoming trainings available for us?
Well, we do. So we have an annual conference every year.
Hmm.
Before the COVID pandemic hit us, it moved around the country, and then about every 5 years or so would be in Canada. It's July 20th through the 23rd.
Okay.
2021. It will be virtual. We've got some phenomenal keynoters lined up, and it's just one of, I attended this conference before I even worked at NACAC, and it's a very powerful conference that has just really helpful workshops where you can come out of it with concrete things you can do differently to
Right.
help with recruitment, to help with supporting families, to help with all of those different kind of things. And so highly recommend that conference. We have a menu of a variety of different trainings that we can offer, but we also work with groups all the time to develop training if there's a specific topic that they have that we don't have. We have a whole network of child welfare friends around the US and Canada who are phenomenal trainers. So we have trainers on our staff, but we also have this great network of people that we can pull in and access.
Well, that's awesome. Is it for both? Is it just for professionals, or is it you're gonna have content for both wheels? Let's say the professionals as well as the parents that are working with
Yeah.
those children.
Yeah, good question. It's definitely for both. We have workshops that are geared towards both.
Okay. Well, once again, what is the website? I'm gonna say it. It's www.nacac.org, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
the conference is coming up, and I think you said July.
July 20th through the
Oof.
23rd. Yep.
July to the 23rd. And but all that information is on your website as well as, and I think the biggest piece, the conference obviously, but also the information about the support. Josh, I could just think of Josh's name, right?
There you go. Yep.
The tax
Yep.
credits
Yep.
information that are available for our, some of the followers that are not, well, I still call them professionals, even though they're, whether it's foster parents or adoptive parents, they're still working with our population.
Yep.
And I think that would be a big piece for them to get.
Yes, I think
Okay.
so too. There's also a spot on our website where people who are looking for local parent support
Mhm.
can go in and put their state or their territory and a list of support groups, and that it doesn't have the specifics like the support group is on the third Wednesday of the month, because that stuff changes, but it will have
Right, right.
the group, the contact for that group, so that you can contact them and find out when they are meeting.
And any last words you want to share with us, Ms. Barr, before we conclude this info session?
My biggest thing is let's just try to provide the best support we can for these
Most
families
definitely.
post placement, and also learn as much as we can about fetal alcohol spectrum disorders.
Most definitely. That's going to be another info session that we're going to
Do
speak
that one
on.
next
That's
sometime.
exactly, exactly. Well, all right, guys. I'm Val, your fellow child care professional, and let's stay connected.